Alright, in today's first day and first video of Collaborative Media Club, we together are going to look at some ideas that we might need for different projects that are to come. First up is scripting and storyboarding. Any project you can think of has storyboarding, especially cartoons. Even more projects have scripts. The layouts usually go like this, from idea to storyboarding to the final product. Let's take a look at an example from Regular Show.
I already know what you're gonna throw before you even throw it, baby.
That's not even possible, baby!
Come on!
Good show! Jolly good show!
This is the importance of storyboarding. You can go from an outline to a fully colored episode of a show fairly quickly. Sometimes studios make changes. Can you spot the difference the studio made to the character? They gave stripes to his hands. The other aspects to know in these types of projects is resolution and frame rate. Resolution is pretty simple. It is measured in pixels. For example, a computer screen is usually 1080 by 1920. Phone screen is usually the opposite. A pixel is basically three LEDs. If you have ever heard of RGB, it is the LEDs used in computer screens or phone screens. It is used to make one pixel. More or less of the LEDs is what creates the different colors. 255 red means the red light is on, but 125 red means the light is half on. And the final thing with resolution is compression, which is just turning a high resolution image into a lower resolution one. Really just remaking the image with fewer pixels. Now the frame rate. The frame rate is the amount of images per second, or in other words, frames per second. 24 FPS is 24 images in a row that make up 1 second. 30 frames per second is 30 images in a row that make up 1 second. And finally, 60 FPS is 60 images in a row that make up 1 second. This is what makes having a higher frame rate harder, as from 30 FPS to 60 FPS you have to draw twice as many images. The plan for our project is to make it 30 frames per second. Of course, there's animating on twos, having the same image for 2 frames, making it easier, and projects like Spider-Verse and Puss utilize low frame rate. And above all those techniques is the story. The most key aspect to any project. Why do you think so many people have heard of Undertale? Because it's an RPG or the gameplay is good? Or because the story is truly unique and captivating? A game called Everhood had a completely different gameplay, but had a unique story, therefore it got very popular. And even when there's no story like filler episodes, it gives even more impact to the storyline and to the project itself. Let's look at this idea. Now you may bring up Minecraft or something like that, which doesn't really need a story. There was another game and it was called Survival Craft, and even though it was a ripoff, its story made it just a tiny bit better. Well, for each of the projects we work on, the goals stated here. For a cartoon, it is our plan to make an 11-minute pilot episode. For a game, it is to have 1 to 2 hours of playtime. For a film, 1.5 hour of runtime. There's even the option to make a video film, like as you've seen, Mandela Catalog. It's easier to make and it has unique ideas as well. Finally, the last thing for next week, we are going to be coming up with ideas. But if we could start that, we'll go over it next week and have a vote on which one's more popular.